Learn how to sell, build, and lead, and you'll be unstoppable. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the most important cornerstones when it comes to becoming an entrepreneur. What are the skills that I need? Or even if you start your professional career, work for somebody else, this still applies. Number one on my list is learn how to sell. And this is the skill I would start with. If you work for somebody else, you want to make a quick buck, you lost your job, you want to get a head start, you want to get started, do a reset. If you know how to sell, you can go to any business and help the owner. You understand their customer base, you understand their product, and you start making money almost instantaneously. When it comes to starting a business, I would argue that every single company, especially a small business, they need more help in promoting and marketing and selling their products. There's never enough promotion or marketing going on. This is something that every owner-operator needs to handle before dipping their toes in the water. So what about the qualities that a good salesperson has or needs to have? First and foremost, I believe this is a skill. It's like any other thing in life. You can be good at it naturally, but then those like me or anybody else who needs to work on it, understanding that it's a skill is a big relief. We can get better by putting the reps in and working hard. So, skill. And then the second point on my list is that selling something to a prospect is about conviction, not convincing. So we don't convince the potential buyer to buy anything from us. We don't force a sale. We help the customer decide. This is very crucial. Help them decide. How do we do that? We listen. First and foremost, before we speak, we listen and we understand the customer's business. All qualities we can learn. Listen, then speak. Understand customer business. If you have to meet a potential buyer who designs power plants, we can spend hours understanding their current state of business, their outlook, all the nuts and bolts regarding what they do. We can be prepared. Conviction over convincing. This is what we discussed. And then last but not least, I would say that the ability to close. Good salespeople know when to stop talking and they let the customer decide. They don't talk too much. It's understanding human psychology. Ability to close. The good news here is that sales, after all, it's not something that we are born with. It's a skill we can work on. Next on my list, build. I'm not talking about building anything by hand. If you're a home builder, of course, it falls into this category, but I'm looking at this from a generalist perspective, not necessarily being a tech-savvy specialist who writes code or understands about designing complex technical architectures. But to me, this is about understanding the value chain and the end user. This could be about design, create, and in my books, this is typically around the customer. So keeping the customer in the middle. So if we understand what the customer needs and build our business around the end user, we never need to worry about competition. Value definition I've learned from Alex Hormozy actually, and the best one I've seen out there. I'm going to lay it out here. So what does value mean from the end user's perspective? Value is the dream outcome that the potential customer sees times perceived, this is probably too small, my apologies, perceived likelihood of success. So how likely is it that when they buy from us, they get what they want, meaning the dream outcome? If this was a personal training service, fitness, if I wanted to lose weight, my dream outcome would be to, let's say, use 20 pounds in 8 weeks, or 10 kilos roughly. What's the perceived likelihood of success? Okay, I hired this personal trainer. How likely is it that he or she is qualified and competent? And then in the bottom part, we have the time delay. Time delay, how long does it take? Times effort and sacrifice. Again, using the simple weight loss example, how long does it take? What's the time delay? Can I get results in 2 days or 2 years? Effort and sacrifice. How hard is it for me, if I'm the one who wants to lose weight, to get to my dream outcome? Many businesses actually only focus on the bottom part. I've covered this in one of my previous videos about FedEx, for instance. So their only value proposition when they got started was to do what the USPS does, United States Postal Service, but do the same thing in half the time. So people are always willing to pay for time and convenience. Make it as simple and easy and fast as possible. But this value definition is what I go by when I'm looking at the end user, keeping the customer in my focus. The last on my list is lead. If we want to grow a business, we need people. That's also one form of leverage, as we have discussed. To grow, you need people. Okay, how do you get the most out of people? You lead them well. If you want somebody to follow you, you have to be a good leader. 2 things, reward versus punishment. I believe we can get almost anybody to do almost anything in a very short period of time if we use the stick. We punish people and we use negative methods. We use fear as a motivator, but that's obviously not lasting. So to get good, long-lasting results, we need to choose reward and incentives over punishment, because culture beats strategy any day, every day, and always. So culture over strategy. Perfect X's and O's on paper don't mean anything if you don't have the right people and the right execution culture. So these 3, sell, build, and lead, apply to starting entrepreneurs and any professional, him or her, starting their professional career. So there you go. Hope this helps.